for me, I feel like the thing that probably depresses me the most out of everything is how much I still have left to learn. Like that's the thing that really hits home in a different way. Like that near enough almost brings tears to my eyes, right? Because just it's a heap load, and I'm just scared because yeah, I think that's the only thing that really gives me depression, and because that there's not enough time as well. And then I have to factor in like this feeling of like, okay, cool, I'm getting older, and then it's like, do I have enough time to be able to truly understand calculus? Right? I've got like an 800-page book. I've got like a bunch of lectures to get to, and then after that, I got to get into statistics. So just all these things are the things that really make me feel a level like I'm approaching I can approach some type of depression, because giving up to me doesn't feel right. Um, and so there's that, and then the pressure as well in terms of university. I really don't know what happened, so I need to reverse engineer that and try to just really understand. Like obviously, I feel like yeah, I will get like my master's degree, but I don't know at what classification I'll get it at. So and that's an extra big burden, and then we've got sort of offset being the pillar, being the sort of wind in my sails, so to speak. I'm a qualified individual, and I've done a lot to become as qualified as I am, in terms of infrastructure operations. So I'm pretty legit at that. Like, I have it all under wraps in terms of how to approach infrastructure and make it run as efficiently or as successfully as possible, or as reliably as possible. Let's put it that. When you say efficiency, that's another thing, right? So the algorithms and stuff, right? I'm looking at that. I'm like, okay, cool. If I really want to get good in algorithms, it's gonna take me at least a minimum of 6 months before I can start learning it at a decent enough level, right? Do I have headroom for that, right? Um, do I like what happens is I'm growing older. I'm like 33 now, so I'm just thinking like, what happens to my mathematical capabilities, And then I think I'm going to need a little bit of linear regression, and then after that I can sort of stop, right? But then I'm thinking to myself, like, as in, like, how much headway, how much room do I have? Because I need to be able to read equations, right? I can't just take a picture of an equation and give it to an ML model to reduce or define for me or to explain it to me. Maybe I can, but it's not the same. I need that in my mind. So it's just that scariness, and I feel like money is the biggest factor in all of this as well. Because maybe if I had more money, I'll probably sleep more, like have more sex, have more parties or something like that, which would then lead to me doing less of this stuff. But then I also doubt that would be the case. In most cases, because even when I wasn't making quite a bit, I was still kind of studying. I was definitely still kind of progressing myself in terms of languages and exploration of different technologies. So I feel like that's definitely something that's embedded within me. But essentially, I do feel that the sadness that can ensue based on the amount of stuff to be learned is quite drastic. And then when interpreting the text as well, being able to effectively understand is impacts things a little bit, So it's just really struggling and sort of working through this is what I'm going through at the moment. And I do feel within me like there's something, there's something there there's a coldness in my chest at times, and it tries to creep up into me, into my head, but I just push it back down to the sort of feeling stages. So probably just need to go gym or something, or do something. But I definitely feel that there is a higher level of pressure in terms of what I have to get through, all the things I have to learn and effectively understand, and that can lead to a sense of, it's not depression per se, but it's a sort of sadness that starts to creep up, man. Because when you start looking back at graphs, and then motherfuckers talking about tangent lines, which is meant to be simple, it's meant to be like high school stuff, but then when you start thinking about it, it becomes relatively complex. And so it's just a thing of like having to stick through it and endure. however way one finds the, the right neurons. And then at the same time, I gotta drink, I gotta smoke weed and shit, which is fine on the weekend. I think it's okay. Friday, Saturday, it's a Sabbath. Take it easy, relax. I feel like that's okay. And one shouldn't be effectively judged for that. In essence. So ultimately, I think it's alright. It's not too bad. You know what? And to be honest with you, I actually think the majority of it is probably Instagram rather than the things I have to learn. Because I'm usually alright. Like, let's see, so in Thailand, I was pretty much alright. And it's only the last week of Thailand when the Instagram started to get to me. And I think I know why that is as well. So actually, it might not be as bad as I imagine. Maybe if I drop Instagram again, which I will soon do, because it's just I don't know what happened. It was too social and stuff like that. So yeah, and then that might actually be the cause of that rather than the things I have to learn, because I feel that Instagram actually induces a level of pressure that makes it look like you have less time than you actually do, or make it look like you can't progress through things as effectively as you can. But I won't lie that there's a lot of pressure. So some of the uni stuff has to get sorted out, whatever that is. I don't know what it is, and I don't know what's the highest classification I can get out of this degree. So I'll try to see that. But whichever one, it doesn't really matter. I just need to get it over and done with as soon as possible. Um, Funds would be nice, but I ain't in no rush for anything major. Just like I think having a level of control about how much I can make and how I make the money is fine with me. And as long as people appreciate the things that I do for them, that would be nice. And I think that is also a rule of law that protect me in regards to that. Because again, at the same time, the Kybalion really teaches us about how to win in life. How to be harmonious, and through these laws, if you can also couple them with other things. Through these laws, you can learn to. Oh God, I just thought about something that you can do with that. But yet, through these laws, you can effectively determine um, the outcome of people that abuse and exploit them, and where that will end up for them in the long run. And you can also see how the people that respect these hermetic laws, how they can rise and ultimately win in a pure way that sustains their life in the long run. So yes, that's it, man. That's just the thoughts that one's having right now before like bed, if I can even get to bed. Gonna do a little bit more reading and stuff, and try not to overwhelm myself in terms of things I have to get through. But it's ultimately fine, and it's ultimately okay. Nothing to stress about too much. We'll probably get away from them Easters and that, bro, because all these people have opinions, bro. Like, and for me, I'm a person who's very strict about whose opinion I value and how I value it and why I value it. And I'm not, yeah. So that's pretty much that. And yeah, so we'll get to it, and hopefully, mental state will become calmer over the next few days, ideally, as you progress